apologies.
Welcome back, everyone. We will now begin our council meeting for 22nd of March 2023. A reminder that the public part of this meeting is being live streamed before we go into confidential, and also a further reminder to make sure that your mobile phones are turned onto silent. Lunch will be at 1 p.m, so we will progress through our items accordingly, but we'll take our next break at 1 p.m. I'd like to invite Councillor O'Brien to open the meeting with a karakia.
Thank you, Your Worship. And in the spirit of partnership and unity with which we've met here today, I'll be doing the opening in te reo and the closing in English. Thank you. Tū taua mai e runga, tū taua mai e raro, tū taua mai e roto, tū taua mai e waho. Kia tau ai, te mauri tū, te mauri ora, ki te katoa, haumie, huie, tākie.
Kia ora. Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. I have no apologies. So we'll move on to any declarations of interest, please. Yes, Councillor O'Brien.
Thank you, Your Worship. Some of the items that will be discussed today, I'm involved in non-for-profit volunteer organisations which have received funding previously. So for that, I will abstain from voting, but would still like to discuss in a general sense on those matters. I'll reserve my right to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you. Noted, and yes. Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am on the board of one of the entities that has received funding from Rotorua Lakes Council that will be discussed at a later point, so I'll just put that out there.
Thank you very much. We've noted declarations of interest from Councillor O'Brien and Councillor Barker. Were there any more for us today? There appear to be none, so we'll move on to any urgent items not on the agenda. Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Your Worship. Some 6 days ago or so, I filed a notice of motion with respect to the provision to elected members of hard copy of documents. I did that because preparing for today with the annual plan involves 45 items that we were individually briefed on. I wanted to be in a position to be able to take notes during the process. So I've found the process that we've adopted pretty unhelpful, actually. So I put the notice of motion in the hope that we would be able to have hard copy documents provided to elected members upon request, and I don't see it on the agenda.
Through the chair, Councillor, the issue with the notice of motion was it was not seconded.
Okay, so I did check the standing orders, and I couldn't see that it was required to be seconded in writing. It would also obviously be required to be seconded today. In any event, I did provide a second version of that last Tuesday, so that's still 5 clear days in advance of the meeting.
My apologies, Councillor. I haven't actually seen the updated notice of motion from you.
I'll check my records.
Thank you. And can I suggest that we'll carry on with the agenda, however, at the next available time, for example, in the lunch break, we'll follow that up and hopefully have a response to you by the end of today.
Thank you.
Cool. Were there any other urgent items not on the agenda? There appear to be none. So we have a very good and interesting discussions ahead of us today as we plan to make decisions to then put into our annual plan to go out for consultation to the community. Due to the sensitive nature of many of these items, I would like to advise that There is one item for consideration in our public excluded session, and we will need a resolution to go into public excluded to discuss these. So the item is draft annual plan proposals 2023 to 24, service delivery proposals be received. Now the reasons for discussing these in confidential are due to commercial sensitivity, to enable commercial and industrial negotiations, due to an obligation of confidence and to protect the public interest, to protect people from harassment, and to prevent the use of the information for improper gain or advantage. I'd like to ask for a mover and a seconder to receive the motion that Council move into public excluded session. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is there an expectation that these will be made public at an appropriate time in the future?
Yes, absolutely. So the purpose for going into public excluded, those are the official reasons. But as soon as possible, when we go out for the public consultation, those items, including the minutes of today's meeting, will be made public. So in the past, we have held forums or workshops. Those also are public excluded. However, with the desire to provide transparency to the community of the decision-making process, we have brought the draft annual plan proposals into a formal meeting of the council. Purpose being is then we can record the minutes, of which every decision minutes for it will be recorded, including whether it was carried or not. And then that will be made publicly available when the minutes are then shared as we go into our consultation period with the public. So yes, absolutely, they will see that. Thank you very much. Unless there are any other questions on that, I'd like a mover and a seconder that we move into public excluded session to begin our discussions. Moved by Councillor Wang, seconded by Councillor Brown. All those in favour, please say aye. Thank you. And we'll allow time for the public to leave and also for the live stream to be turned off, and then we'll get into our discussions on the resolutions.